Welcome, Carleen Caldwell. How are you?
I'm well.
This is all about the bike ride and the celebration. I'm so elated to be speaking with you, and just to kind of give people a little bit of insight as to, the whole motivation and the history of this ride. Can you talk about the very first ride and how did that come about?
Well, the very first ride came about in 1979. In fact, at your aunt's house, Corday's house. We were very busy talking about CUDA, Cape Verdean Universal Development Association, and the things we were doing under that charter, which were to preserve and present our history, our culture, and our contributions to New Bedford and to the world as far as the immigration of Cape Verdeans, Azorians, and West Indians in the mid and early 1800s. So we needed to reach our young people, to let them know that they're valuable, their history is valuable, because it's not being taught. Civics wasn't being taught anymore, and we needed to reach them. It was a time of a lot of violence and murders in the community, things that had never happened before. So we had to come up with concepts and ideas to bring these young people off the street and into an audience where we could have their heads. We started that with the bike ride, and we thought, my God, if we can get a bunch of kids on bikes and have multi-generational gatherings, which we had growing up, which weren't happening anymore, if we could have those kind of social gatherings to plant political seeds, so that we could talk about civics, we could talk about altruism, we would talk about the responsibility of service, that what we need in our communities to be well and to grow are things that we have to supply, we have to teach how to get, we have to create that incubator of sustainable development without blaming it on the system or the man, that it was our responsibility. It was our responsibility to do that and to get into the heads of young people who were playing along with all the things the system wants them to do, not realizing that that behavior is what keeps law enforcement employed, the courts, the prisons. We are the victims of that, but more than the victims, we are the sustainers.
Yeah, I really want the audience to understand the initiative, because it seems like that initiative is now echoed again almost, 40 years later, 50 years later? I mean, when we had our 50th anniversary, it was wonderful to see it reignited, and that these traditions that were customary and actually secondary as far as a way of life and within our community coming back to our community, which,
absolutely,
as you stated, is a necessity because of the mere fact that some of these concepts of time and place and just the sense of intergenerational activities are somewhat separated or lost within our community. So it's wonderful to see it come back.
The intergenerational gatherings are how we listen to our aunts and our uncles and the people in our communities talk about voting, who they're going to vote for, what was going to happen, who was going to create this activity for the kids, who was going to monitor this dance, who was going to create this fundraiser or this cabaret so that we were off the street.
What I've learned and what I've observed as being a young girl watching you guys do what you did, and now a grown woman watching what's happening now, the paradigm shift is that there were community organizations that were really community organizations, community funded, community guided, community created, right?
Right.
Whereas now you see a lot of these organizations funded by outside entities to gather information and data on the community to further suppress the community of what the agenda should be to propel the communities. And so I saw the bike ride as a tool to bring that back. Am I correct on that?
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. The bike ride is a reminder that everything we need to do to create sustainable and safe communities, we have those tools in our toolbox. We don't need anybody else to do it. And bringing the bike ride back and planting those seeds and demonstrating the altruism and the responsibility of everyone. It's everybody's responsibility to rebuild your community so it's safe and
you know
growing.
what's so beautiful? Exactly. And what was so beautiful about that, it was exemplified through the bike donations. It was so wonderful to see. It was so wonderful to see children that never had a bike getting a bike for free, watching community people within the community that knew how to fix bikes, fixing all the bikes for the kids to ride. And it was so wonderful to watch the end result, which was watching the children pull into the Hazelwood Park and all of the adults applauding them for finishing the ride. I want you to talk about what that did with the children.
You know what? The thing that really resonated with me was the kids that only made it 4 blocks, 6 blocks, 10 blocks were so proud of their accomplishment that they got on a bike and could go that far. And these were kids like early elementary, kindergarten, 1st grade, 2nd grade. But the older kids, the 4th graders, the 5th graders, the 6th graders, the 7th graders, when they rolled into that park and they saw the welcome pride of the people, like, yay, we did it. To know that they could come together, get those bikes, build those bikes, have people donate bikes, now this is your bike.
Right, that part.
This is
they
your
got
bike.
to keep the bikes. They got to keep the bikes. And for
absolutely.
me, I was just like, that was a level of empowerment and accomplishment and also reward that you don't necessarily see as ROIs, return on investments, or outcomes of various events. And so
absolutely.
The participation, a lot of people don't understand what it takes to organize and how do you galvanize a community to actually participate in something like that. I would like for you to talk about the food that was there, the pizza donations.
Well, the volunteers came together because they all had bike ride histories.
Mm-hmm.
They all rode in the bike ride way back then with their families, and they knew the value of that. And then to reach out to the community, to funders and sponsors, to think that, oh, my God, there's something wonderful happening in that community. I want to be a part of making sure it happens. And the outpouring, even if it was a $25 donation or a $10 donation or a $4,000 donation like from Senator Montigny and John Cruz and New Bedford Credit Union, for people that do business with our communities support a lot of businesses in New Bedford.
Mm-hmm.
And those are the people who said, oh, we need to pay attention to this and we need to participate in it because they are more aware sometimes of our value than our children are. They don't know how valuable we are. And we want them to know their value.
Exactly.
Their value. All the gifts they have, all the skills they have.
Right. And I wanted to expound on that because what in my discovery as far as being an educational specialist and doing outreach with marginalized children, when you get value, when they understand value, there's a level of confidence that is congruent with understanding their value.
Everybody has a gift, something they do well that they don't even know that they do well until there's a place for them to develop that. But when they know their value, it changes the whole trajectory of their futures.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know I can set a goal now and reach it because I have the support system I need to get there. So that's the altruism of the community. The volunteers coming in to be that teacher to teach finishing class.
Exactly. Yes. It's kind of like the overall sentence of it's not that you can't, you just have to learn how. And I think that just watching that example of the older kids encouraging the younger kids to take the ride, and they protected them and they encouraged them, you know, it was wonderful to see that interaction. I want to move to this year. this year you're doing it again, July 4th. Go into the details of what you're organizing this year and some of the things you need to accomplish that goal.
Okay, well, this year the ride is on the 4th of July, Saturday, and it's the same ride. It's the adult ride, which is about 13 miles, and the kids ride, which is from Monty's to the beach, with, of course, chaperones and guides and pickup trucks to pick up the kids that can't make it, even though they tried. And then on the 20th of June and the 27th of June, we have volunteers, incredible volunteers, who are coming together to do bike clinics to make sure that the bikes that the kids have road ready, enough air, the brakes are right, the line is right, the rust is off. And then we are also looking for gently used bikes so that we can give them to children that don't have them and make sure that they are ride ready. So bikes, helmets, and your time, the time of people that can come together that know how to fix these bikes. Last year we had 4 men in the community that came together and spent hours rebuilding bikes, putting tubes and air in tires, replacing brake lines. They did that all day. I mean, Russell Montero, Tiny Tavas, Tommy Grace, a man named Bill from Bernie's program. I mean, the people that came, I mean, guys riding by and say, hey, wait, you need a wrench? I got one in my car. Hey, let me help. It was the community taking care of the community. And that's the spirit that the bike ride intends to build. The community taking care of rebuilding, strengthening, and growing our community.
Exactly. And, you know, the thing that sometimes we don't discuss is the business aspect of it. What are some of the people that lie within our community that you'll need, like maybe the police department to get the coverage of the permit to do it, or maybe the city council?
For the first time, in the 10 years that we did the bike ride prior to independence, the 50th anniversary, the city really didn't sponsor it. The city sponsored last year's bike ride and are sponsoring that bike ride again this year, which is huge because the city, people that are working in those park departments and those city agencies understand the value of participation in this event because it reflects the good that can be done and created in the city when the city participates in concert with the community.
Exactly. And that's the operative word, in concert. I think our community over the years has had opportunities where we weren't really participants per se, we were recipients as opposed to participants. And so the outcome was not as progressive as it potentially could have been because of the mere fact that it missed that front line. I always relate things to like a combat zone. So you've got the people on the front line, you've got the people behind the line, and then you've got the generals in the command center. And so to see what you've accomplished, having the city council and the city participate, they're the command center, but then also having representatives and councilmen and people like that participating along with the community.
Yes. I'm going to tell you, Brian Gomes, who was there for the first bike ride, supported it, promoted it, ensured whatever he could do to help it grow. And then we have Jane Burgo, we have Derek Baptiste, we have other people who are really committed. We have this new guy, Chris Hendricks. We have always Representative Cabral. Senator Mark Montigny, who is a community senator. I think they're taking a breath of fresh air, like, oh, my God, here's something that we can all do and grow on and make better for everybody. But if we don't build it, Amelia, it doesn't exist.
Right, but also actions speak louder than words. There's a lot of people that say that they want to do things, but when you look at the actuality of what they've done, it's really not communal. It's really not the whole community participating.
No.
The takeaway that you want everyone to have, like they did last year, that you want to see continued this year, what would that be?
Absolutely. The full intergenerational participation. The volunteers were phenomenal. They're all in place. And it's a well-oiled machine. We just have to keep working, perfecting, and making it grow so that our mission changes and our mission grows, and the growth is creating sustainable economic development, preserving our culture, our communities, and making sure that it's civic-minded, it's an educated electorate, that it's all the things it needs to grow, and this is the floor. This is a foundation that will create and sustain that growth and development through a bike ride.
Right. But now here's the question that I think, because we talk about Cape Verdean culture and Cape Verdean community, it's not, for clarity's sake, it's not just exclusive to the Cape Verdean community.
Oh, no.
Celebrating
It's a diaspora. It's a diaspora.
There you go.
It's all of us. It's all people of color. Because when you talk about 1,000 years of slavery, you're talking about all of the Caribbean, all of Africa, all of South America.
But for the city itself,
wherever there are brown people, wherever there are non-white people, nothing against white people, but the oppression and the colonialism has been on people of color.
So to play devil's advocate for a second, because this is, journalism and it is a city thing, is it just for people of color, or can people that are Portuguese descent or whatever can participate?
For me, who is one of the co-founders and organizers of this, it is for all peaceful, positive, progressive people who are concerned with the betterment of our country, starting in our communities, because everything starts local. It's for everybody who wants the best for our democracy, for our communities, for our culture. And the culture of America is diverse.
Exactly.
We're
but at the same
together
time,
than separate. Yes.
Exactly. And I'm glad that you articulated that. And even though the focus may be on our children that are marginalized, that deal with the daily oppression, I find that when you make it open for everybody, it's like bringing them into our culture so that they can understand what we experience, and then consequently take it back to their community and teach.
Absolutely. Well, the focus point just happens to be the celebration of an independent African nation oppressed for 500 years by colonialism. But to take the tiny gift of our independence through great struggle to be the focal point of celebration that includes the diaspora is a phenomenal, beautiful thing.
Well said, Carleen. Well, I wanted to thank you so much for the time. Is there anything else that you want to make sure relating to the bike ride itself and its outcome, its goals, or anything necessary for it to be successful yet again this year that we have not communicated? Please articulate now.
Well, the success is donations, support, gently used bikes, helmets, food, hot dogs, hamburgers, water, drinks, whatever it takes. When the kids come back into that park, we want to feed them. We want them to be happy. We want them to have games to play, and we want to have access to their minds. We want to have voter registration, voter education. So I know from my life that information is freedom. And when you start feeding children the right information, we are giving them freedom to grow into functioning, participating citizens of this society, to make it whole, safe, and to grow.
Right. Last question. Where can they go to get more information or to help with the donation? What is the contact information?
There is an email address. There's Cape Verdean Strong at gmail.com, 508-333-3078. Any questions that you want to ask, any information you have, I am more than happy to share it, that we're ready to ride on July 4th at 10 a.m. it makes people remember the wonder of who we are and how wonderful we are when we all work together. We can't lose. Build it and they'll come. And we're building it, so they'll come.
There you go. Well, thank you so much for your time out of your day. And again, everyone, this is regarding the bike ride July 4th in New Bedford, Massachusetts, celebrating not only the independence of Cape Verdean, but also the celebration of intergenerational activities that brings community together. I salute you for all that you're doing and the whole community that is participating in this. Continued success. And like my Auntie Cordy would say all the time, Nho Pincha.
Nho Pincha. Go forward. Go forward. Absolutely. Thank you for your time.